Good evening, everybody. This is Davy Jones from the Pizza Hut in Bucyrus with Coach's Corner West, and we are brought to you in part on this Monday evening by Adam Weisner and all the associates in Advanced Fiber Technology, Coach Tim Plumley, Mohegan Sports Medicine and Rehabilitation, Matt Studer at Spitzer, Chrysler Dodge, Jeep Ram Kia, just a half mile east of the Richland Mall, Rob Lust at Edgefield Animal Clinic in Marion, Matt Ramsey, John Ziegler, Drew Young, Frank Heinlein, and all the associates at Bucyrus Blade, serving worldwide markets since 1951. And Roger Brown at Winks Lock and Safe, South Poplar at West Warren Street, Bucyrus. We got Bucyrus, Wynford, and Buckeye Central in that order, and up first is the Bucyrus Redmen. And we have with us this evening Mark Garcia, who is the linebackers coach, who's sitting in for Tim Plumley, who had a family emergency this evening. And we'll be talking with Mark about the show this evening. Let's talk, first of all, about Bucyrus. And last week, a tough loss to Upper Sandusky, 54-21. Mark, this game was lost basically at Upper Sandusky in part, not totally, but by turnovers.
Yeah, turnovers and special teams really hurt us last week.
Okay,
so,
talk to me a little bit about that. What happened? Talking about special teams.
We get lackadaisical sometimes on that side of the ball, and we just collapsed our lanes a little too early, and they scored 3 different times off that. That is one of the things we're going to get into this week to button up for sure.
All right. Bucyrus scoring a couple of touchdowns, actually had 3 touchdowns, and Joe Rager had a 60-yard touchdown reception from Malachi Bayless. Then in the second quarter, Randy Banks, a 2-yard run, and then Banks again in the fourth quarter, a 4-yard run. Anything you want to say, especially about the 60-yard touchdown pass?
Joe has actually really come into his form and his body as of late. The past 2 weeks, he's really exploited defenses. He's catching very contested balls. He's running.
So he's going up in a crowd.
Yeah, he's becoming, I would say, a man amongst children at the wide receiver position.
All right. He plays defense as well, right?
Yes, he plays
defensive back.
Yes, sir.
All right. So but that probably helps out a little bit too. It's nice to have a guy back there defending who can catch the ball.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about the box score, and I've taken a look at that. Upper Sandusky, 19 first downs to Bucyrus' 11. Total offensive yards, 429 to 172 for Bucyrus. I think we were expecting a little bit closer game than that, weren't we?
Yeah. Like I said, just like you said at the beginning, turnovers and special teams really kind of took a toll on the game. And when we got down, Upper was able to expose our gaps and run the football pretty well against us. So
Joe Rager, Mason Gebhardt, Cam Lewis, and Randy Banks, all with receptions for the Redmen, and there were some positive things that came out of that game, in spite of the fact that we didn't get the outcome that we wanted.
Yeah, the offense, to a point, we were able to expose defenses, especially with, like I said, with Joe's, Cam's. All 4 of those guys are top 4 receivers for us this season. They're able to expose every defense's weakness, and that's what we try to attack each and every week. And I saw glimmers of that. Our defense played very well for the most part.
What'd you learn from this game? What'd you learn from this game that you can take into the second half of the season for more success?
More effort at practice. More effort at practice amongst the players. And special teams.
Is effort physical, mental, or a combination of both?
No, it's mostly mental. Mostly mental. If our guys come in ready to go every day, I really think we'll take a big step forward.
All right. Malachi in the season, number 2 in the league in passing, 72 for 141, just over 50%, just under 1,000 yards at 933, 7 touchdowns. I think probably the one big stat that stares me in the face is only 1 pick on the season.
Yeah, people was really wondering how that was going to go with Malachi's improvements on throwing the football. They kind of took the rule out for intentional grounding in high school this year, so when he gets outside the pocket and he don't see anybody open, he tends to throw the ball out of bounds.
I've seen him throw it almost into the cornfield.
Yeah. He's not taking any chances, and it's really...
So part of it's a change in the rules then?
Yeah, I believe so. And he's not forcing. He's becoming a smarter kid. Like I said, he was a sophomore last year. He's a junior this year. He's matured. He's making better decisions throwing the football, and it's paid dividends for him.
All right. The number one quarterback in the league is Upper Sandusky's Caden Holman. 82 of 136. He's 60% of the season, 1,133 yards. He too has 7 touchdowns, but the big difference between he and Malachi, Malachi 1 interception like we talked about, and Caden has 7 picks on the season.
Oh wow!
So you take that out, maybe if it averages out a little bit, but it's exactly 200 yards more offense through the air than Malachi. Joe Rieger is number 3 in receiving this year in the league. 18 receptions for 311 yards, and you have some guys that catch the ball.
Yes, sir. Yes, we do.
All right. Upper offense. Upper had 420 yards of offense, scored at least 3 touchdowns off offense, and then someone, as we mentioned on the turnovers hurt you bad.
Yes, sir, they did.
All right. We're going to be back, and we're going to talk with the players here. We've got several players we want to talk to here. We've got Cobbler. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Dylan Cobbler, Devin Deskins, and Don Fox. We'll talk to all these guys here in just one moment. This part of the show is brought to you in part by Lee Plymel and Brad Seibert at the Plymel Insurance Group, Bucyrus and Gallion, Hannah Newton, Wendy's, downtown Bucyrus and Upper Sandusky, North Central State College, Mansfield, and the Crawford Success Center, Bucyrus, Tabitha Smith, and everybody at Waycraft Industries, Rod Steiger, Pizza Hut, Bucyrus, Gallion, host of our show since 1992, and the Burkhart family at Burkhart Farm Sales, your Case IH dealer on the Manette U Winchester Road. Coden Kepler is with us. He is a senior, and Coden is backup quarterback?
No. That'd be him.
That'd be okay. That's Dylan. Okay, just O-line and D-line, huh?
Yes, sir. Yep.
All right. Talk to me about O-line and D-line. You know, you got a lot on you this week because a lot of people are telling me that, well, let's face it, everybody knows Bucyrus is going to throw the ball. Everybody knows that Wynford's going to run the ball. And you guys both have seen some success in your positive areas of offense. So I'm being told, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm putting a lot of heat on you, buddy, that this game is going to be won in the trenches.
Oh, it 100% is. I definitely believe that's where a lot of the hype's going to be, a lot of the tackles, a lot of the good yards that we're going to see. It's going to be a very, very heated and high game.
All right.
Right there on that line.
You like offense or defense better?
That's kind of a real trick question for me, honestly. I have a passion for both of them, and it's a passion each side of the ball. Each side of the ball has two different types of love, 2 different meanings, and it's just when it comes down to it, you're on the line for me.
You're on the line.
Yep.
All right. Talk to me a little bit about what you've learned so far this season that you can take with you into the second half of the season, because you're into the home stretch, buddy. You're in the final 5 games of the career. Talk to me about that.
It's no joke when people talk about being mentally tough. I think Coach Garcia handled that pretty well. You can be physical, you can be strong, you can have all the muscles, but your mind breaks first, and that's where it's at. If your mind doesn't break, you're solid. You can be a freshman. And the good thing with Malachi too, his mental state has gone up crazy, and I think for all of us, it's just our mental note, and just in that matter. If you're mentally strong, that's the difference between winning and losing the game.
All right. Coach, good job. I appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by. Got your little brother here, Dylan Cobbler. He's a backup quarterback, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. You played JV then, starting quarterback on JVs? What's the JV record this year?
We're 0-4, 0-5.
0-5. Okay. Well, you're getting better.
Yeah, we are definitely improving from first game. Coach Seaver actually talked about that Saturday morning. We are really improving as a team. And
How'd you do it Saturday morning?
We held them 8-6 first half, and then second half we just
Fell apart, huh?
Yeah.
All right. You also play either defensive line or defensive end. I understand you've done in some varsity games?
Yep. Actually, Friday against Upper, I went in as defensive tackle for the whole game. So.
All right. And are you filling in for somebody else, or are you filling in for an injury? Or
Usually I'm either there for if somebody goes down or somebody goes down.
all right. Other sports besides football, you look like you might be playing basketball.
I play basketball and I do track. So.
All right. All right. Well, listen, I appreciate you stopping by. Job well done. Thank you for coming by. Next is Devin Deskins, who's a cornerback and wide receiver. Devin, down at the end of the table there, is a junior. And talk to me a little. Quarterback and wide receiver kind of complement each other, do they not?
Yeah.
You learn a little bit from being a wide receiver that you can take to corner, a little bit you can take from corner to wide receiver.
Yeah, I feel like you get the instincts, like, once they start running the route, you can kind of guess based off of how they started off, if they start spinning it one way or another.
All right. Because you do the exact same thing, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So if I were this guy, this is what I'd be doing, then you kind of anticipate a little bit what he's doing.
Yeah, that kind of helps you out.
What have you learned the first 5 games this season that you can take into the next 5 games and be a little bit more successful?
Really, I think I just need to get more physical. That's what I need to work on in my game. I think I'm good in pass coverage situations, but when they run the ball, that's what I need to get better at myself.
So you need more of a mental aspect than a physical aspect. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, buddy, thanks for coming by. And finally, we got Don Fox, O-line, D-line. You look like an O-line, D-line guy, you know it? Yeah, you look like you're going to be the point guard of the basketball team, that's for sure. That's it. Talk to me a little bit about, you're a sophomore, right?
Yeah.
Now, you played varsity, JV, or?
I played JV.
JV, and you got into the varsity at all?
A little bit here and there.
A little bit here and there. All right, so you get to dress and maybe get in that ball game a little bit. What have you learned so far this season that you can take into the next 5 games of the season, and since you're only a sophomore, into the next 2 years? What have you learned that it's gonna?
I've learned to be physical and play hard. The
Right.
harder you try and practice, the more of a chance you'll have to play in a varsity game.
All right.
Or against that.
All right. Listen, buddy, I appreciate you stopping by. You did a good job, and I thank you for taking time out of your day. We're going to come back and talk about the Wynford game coming up, and that comes up in just one moment here on the show. Our show brought to you in part tonight by Mike Kleinert at Ag Credit Residential Lending, Bucyrus, Mount Gilead, Marion. Dr. Thomas M. Britton, Clubview Vision Center of Bucyrus. Dr. Erica Sheaver at Bucyrus Veterinary Service at 222 West Mary Street. Luann Krebs, River's Edge Embroidery, Screen Printing Signs, Route 309, right across from the Marion Depot. The Ohio State University Marion, a Big Ten education close to home. Ted Coder, Monarch Body Shop, Touchdown, and Blythe Freely and Todd McDougall at Freely and Company Insurance in the heart of Washington. And rejoining us is Linebackers Coach Mark Garcia, and it's Wynford week. And in spite of their record, which they have not seen this in a long, long time, but in spite of their record, which is not successful this year, they're still a very dangerous football team.
Yes, I agree to that aspect. Their linemen are very large. Like you said at the beginning of the show, I really do believe that this battle is going to be won and lost in the trenches. The skill around the board, I believe, is quite similar, and we just got to execute.
All right. Just based on the first 5 games of the season, everybody in the world is expecting you to throw the football. You've had success there, not very much success running the ball. Last week, virtually no success running the ball, but so they expect you to throw the ball. Wynford knows that, and you, I am assuming, are expecting them to try and run the ball because they've done better running the ball than they have throwing it.
Yeah, like I said, they run a lot of unbalanced, and it's going to be tough on our guys. But I believe that we're up for the task, and I believe that we're going to put the work in order to try and stop that.
Keys to success in this game.
You have to be mentally stable, mentally ready for the game. That's my number one, I think, for us as players and coaches to be ready for. And the physicality. I always stress that this is an aggressive game, and to channel that aggression towards being sound on defense and offense.
All right. Coach, we thank you and your players for stopping by and talking to us. Good luck Friday night. That game will be on the radio this Friday evening, and we do appreciate the fact that you guys stop by and give us a conversation and talk. Thank you so much. Up next, it's the Wynford Royals on Coach's Corner West, and we're going to be back in just a very few minutes.